The book of Revelation, also known as the Apocalypse, is the final book of the New Testament. Chapter 13 of Revelation is particularly rich in symbolic and mysterious imagery, presenting a narrative that has fascinated and puzzled scholars, theologians, and believers for centuries. The chapter describes two beasts that rise, one from the sea and the other from the earth, each embodying different aspects of apocalyptic prophecy and the struggle between good and evil. The beast from the sea. The first beast emerges from the sea, described as having 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns and on each head a blasphemous name. This beast is often interpreted as a symbol of political power and authority that stands in opposition to God. The sea from which it rises may symbolize the chaotic and tumultuous realms of the earth, reflective of nations and peoples in turmoil. The beast's appearance, with multiple heads and crowns, suggests a confederation of powers or kingdoms united under a single blasphemous leadership that challenges divine authority. The beast from the earth. The second beast arises from the earth, indicating a different origin and nature compared to the first beast. This beast is described as having 2 horns like a lamb, but speaking like a dragon, suggesting a deceptive character that appears harmless or benign while wielding the malevolent influence of the dragon, often associated with Satan. This beast performs great signs, even making fire come down from heaven, and deceives the inhabitants of the earth. It promotes the worship of the first beast and enforces the mark of the beast on humanity, without which no one can buy or sell. The mark of the beast. One of the most enigmatic and discussed symbols in Revelation 13 is the mark of the beast, represented by the number 666. This mark, required to engage in commerce, has been subject to myriad interpretations over the centuries, from literal marks to symbolic representations of allegiance to the powers that stand against God. The number 666 itself has been analyzed through various methods, including gematria, a Hebrew numerology system where numbers are assigned to letters to suggest names or titles of historical figures who epitomize opposition to divine will. Symbolism and interpretation. The imagery in Revelation 13 is rich with symbolic meaning, drawn from Old Testament prophecy, apocalyptic literature, and contemporary events of the time it was written. The beasts symbolize oppressive powers that challenge the faithful, testing their allegiance to God. The chapter serves as a warning against complicity with such powers, urging readers to remain faithful despite persecution and temptation. The mysterious and intriguing nature of Revelation 13 lies not only in the specific symbols it contains, but also in its broader themes of cosmic struggle, divine justice, and the promise of redemption. It encapsulates the apocalyptic vision of the end times, where the forces of evil, though powerful and seductive, are ultimately defeated by the sovereignty and righteousness of God. Deciphering the symbols in Revelation 13, a chapter rich in apocalyptic imagery from the Christian New Testament, requires an understanding of its historical context, theological themes, and the symbolic language common to apocalyptic literature. This chapter introduces 2 vividly described beasts, one rising from the sea and the other from the earth, symbolizing various forms of opposition against God's sovereignty, and introduces the enigmatic mark of the beast, 666. Here's a foundational guide to unpacking these symbols. Historical and cultural context. First, it's essential to recognize that apocalyptic literature, like that found in Revelation, was written in a highly symbolic code, often reflecting the persecution or challenges faced by its initial audience. Revelation is traditionally attributed to John and is thought to address the early Christian communities under Roman rule. The symbols within Revelation 13 can be seen as representations of imperial power, religious apostasy, and economic oppression. Symbolic language. The beast from the sea. Typically interpreted as a symbol of political and military power in opposition to God, the beast's description, 10 horns and 7 heads with blasphemous names, could symbolize complete power, 10 being a number of completeness, and blasphemy against God. The sea represents chaos and turmoil from which this political power arises. Many scholars believe the sea represents a sea of people. The beast from the earth. This beast is seen as symbolizing religious deception, promoting the worship of the first beast and executing its authority. The contrast between its lamb-like horns and dragon voice emphasizes its deceptive nature, appearing benign but speaking with the authority of Satan. The mark of the beast, 666, one of the most debated symbols, the mark and the number 666 have been interpreted through various lenses, including gematria, where the number represents a name or a title. It symbolizes allegiance to the beast's system, an ultimate rebellion against God. Apocalyptic themes. Understanding Revelation's symbols requires familiarity with its apocalyptic themes, such as the cosmic struggle between good and evil, the final judgment, and the hope of a new creation. These themes are not unique to Christianity and can be found in other religious traditions and cultures, often reflecting a community's hope for divine intervention in times of oppression. Interpretive approaches. Different interpretive lenses can be applied to Revelation 13, including historicist, sees the symbols as representing specific historical events or periods. 2. Preterist, interprets the symbols as primarily relevant to the first-century audience and their immediate future. 3. Futurist, views the symbols as predictions of events yet to occur in the end times. Idealist or symbolic, reads the symbols as timeless truths about spiritual realities rather than specific historical or future events. Challenges in interpretation. Deciphering the symbols of Revelation 13 is complex, with interpretations varying widely among scholars, theologians, and believers. The text's symbolic nature means that it can be read in multiple ways, each offering insights into the nature of divine and human conflict, the temptation to compromise faith for security, and the promise of God's ultimate victory over evil. As you embark on this journey of deciphering Revelation 13, approach the text with openness to its multi-layered meanings, aware of the historical context and the broader biblical narrative of redemption. Engaging with various interpretations can enrich your understanding and encourage a deeper exploration of this fascinating chapter of the Bible. Interpreting the symbols in Revelation 13 within the context of current events and potential future scenarios requires a nuanced approach, recognizing the symbolic and often metaphorical nature of apocalyptic literature. While it's crucial to avoid overly literal interpretations that directly map ancient symbols onto modern entities or events, there is value in considering how the themes and imagery of Revelation 13 might reflect ongoing and future challenges in our world. Here's an exploration of how these symbols can be seen as relevant to the present day and future possibilities. The beast from the sea. Political powers and global challenges. The first beast, arising from the sea with 10 horns and 7 heads, can symbolize overarching political and economic systems that challenge ethical and spiritual values. In today's context, this might reflect 1. Global political turmoil. The tumultuous nature of global politics, with rising authoritarianism, nationalism, and conflicts, could be seen as the chaotic sea from which the beast emerges. 2. Economic systems and inequality. The control over buying and selling, marked by the beast's authority, may mirror concerns about economic systems that prioritize profit over people, contributing to inequality and exploitation. The beast from the earth, deception and false ideologies. The second beast, which promotes the worship of the first beast and enforces its mark, can represent the spread of false ideologies and the manipulation of truth. 1. Misinformation and propaganda. The proliferation of misinformation and the use of digital platforms to manipulate public opinion can be seen as a form of the beast's deceptive power, guiding people away from truth. Religious extremism and ideological radicalization. The coercive enforcement of ideological conformity, sometimes under religious guises, reflects the second beast's role in promoting the worship of the first beast system. The mark of the beast. Economic control and surveillance. The mark of the beast, required for economic transactions, can be metaphorically linked to 1. Surveillance and privacy concerns. The increasing encroachment of technology in private lives and the potential for surveillance states reflect concerns over who controls access to buying and selling. Economic exclusion and control. The dependency on digital transactions and potential for financial systems to exclude those who do not conform to certain standards or ideologies mirrors the mark's control over commerce. Relevance to future scenarios. Looking ahead, these symbols can serve as cautionary themes, highlighting the potential for 1. Technological overreach. Advancements in technology, while beneficial, also pose risks of increased surveillance, loss of privacy, and the potential for coercive control over individuals' lives. 1. Global unity versus authoritarianism. Efforts towards global cooperation can be positive, but there's a risk of consolidating power in ways that resemble the oppressive nature of the beasts, particularly if such unity comes at the cost of individual freedoms and ethical standards. 1. Ethical challenges in a changing world. Climate change, resource scarcity, and global migrations present challenges that may tempt societies to adopt draconian measures for control and survival, echoing the oppressive and deceptive tactics of the beasts. While Revelation 13 contains symbols that were directly relevant to its original audience, the themes of political power, deception, economic control, and the challenge to maintain integrity and faithfulness in the face of adversity are timeless. These symbols invite modern readers to reflect on current events and future scenarios through a moral and ethical lens, considering how actions and systems align with or oppose values of justice, truth, and compassion. In doing so, the ancient text of Revelation continues to offer relevant insights into contemporary and future challenges, urging vigilance, discernment, and commitment to higher principles in navigating the complexities of our world. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content on decoding biblical prophecies and end-time scenarios.